council zoning meeting. What happened?
Surprisingly, they approved it.
Really?
Yeah.
What are they trying? What street is this?
This is Ingersoll Grove in McKnight, where it's Residence A, although there are some pre-existing, before zoning, two-family houses. Someone asked to rezone a lot that had been 50 years ago a two-family house, and although the planning board didn't like it and the neighbors didn't like it, city council approved it.
Okay, we're on now.
I didn't know
Hello.
that.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Karen Lee from the Community Preservation Committee, and today is December 3rd, our regular meeting for December. And Bob, would you like me to just start with the lottery, or do you want to introduce the committee members first?
Well, yes, let's, if we have a quorum, because I'm not seeing Clinton's showing up here. Is Clinton on?
I don't.
Because I'm seeing Gloria, Juanita, Steve, and Yolanda. And that's not 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that is a quorum. Okay. So we can
we're coming to you live on Facebook. If you would like to reach us, send an email to cpc@springfieldcityhall.com, or you can reach us by telephone 413-250-1268. And I'll turn the meeting over to Bob McCarroll, who will introduce the committee. Thanks for joining us tonight, and the Historic Homes Lottery will be drawn shortly.
Thank you, Karen. So I'm Bob McCarroll. I'm the chair of the Springfield Community Preservation Committee. I represent the Springfield Preservation Trust, Inc. Also with us is Gloria DiFilippo, who represents the Springfield Planning Board, Juanita Martinez, who represents the Springfield Conservation Commission, Steve Bosworth and Yolanda Consul, who are two of our neighborhood representatives. I am expecting additional members. However, we have a quorum, so we're not going to keep people waiting. And I'm going to pass up the voting on the minutes and go directly to the Historic Homes Lottery. So Karen, why don't you take it over? For those that aren't familiar with it, it is a CPA funded program that helps with exterior renovation of houses in our local historic districts. And the participants apply and are chosen by lottery.
Yes. All right. And here we go. So the Historic Homes Restoration Program, the Springfield Community Preservation, I'm just going to give a little background here for those who don't know. The committee recommended funding again this year for the Historic Homes Restoration Program for homeowners. The available funds are reserved for individuals who own and occupy a home built after 1940 and living in the eligible local historic districts of Quadrangle, Mattoon, Forest Park Heights, McKnight, Maple Hill, Lower Maple, Ridgewood, and Colony Hills. A postcard was mailed to each registered homeowner in the districts, and after removing duplicates, 228 addresses met the resident requirement for this drawing. To date, almost 40 homes have received a CPA grant to repair or restore their historic home. And this is the process. All 228 addresses are placed into a pool, and selection is made by a random generator that will sort the 228 addresses and assign each a number according to the number of applications submitted, or 1 through 228. The order or date an application was received is not part of the selection process. Lottery funds available are $300,000. A generous sliding scale of eligibility allows for a maximum grant of $30,000 and a minimum grant of $15,000 per household, provided other program requirements are met. Homeowners selected will agree to complete exterior work according to the Secretary of the Interior standards for historic properties. Lastly, the The first 10 addresses will be contacted. If a homeowner is found ineligible or chooses not to move forward or does not qualify for a full grant, address number 11 will be contacted, and so on until funds are depleted. The Historic Homes Restoration Program is supported by the Community Preservation Act and the City of Springfield. All funding for this program has been allocated by the Springfield Community Preservation Committee. Funding is not guaranteed next year unless the committee recommends funding for a 5th cycle. And I think I mentioned to date, there are almost 40 homes have received a CPA grant to repair or restore their home. So I am going to share the screen so that you can see what I'm doing here.
And while you're doing that, Karen, let me just add that we recommend, but it is city council that actually appropriates the money. So thank you, city council.
Yes, thank you, City Council. Okay, so over here, if you can see this on my spreadsheet here, there are 228 addresses. And I'm going to just copy the 228. And this is a little anticlimactic because it happens almost immediately. So the 228 addresses are placed into this random bucket sorter. And the number to select is 228. And then as soon as I draw this, it's going to come out immediately. So you can see that there are now 228 addresses, which were the number of applications. And we are going to take the top 10, and I'll read them in case this isn't big enough. So the top 10 homeowners selected this year are 32 Fairfield Street, 59 Furglade Avenue, 300 Forest Park Ave, 41 Churchill Street, 71 Marengo Park, 48 Madison Avenue, 70 Cornell Street, 145 Harvard Street, 70 Bowdoin Street, and 166 Washington Boulevard. If any of these homeowners are found to be ineligible or they decide not to take the grant, we will go and contact place number 11. Thanks for playing today. Okay, that's all I have, Bob. So
Very
congratulations to the winners.
All right.
Seems to be a nice mix too. I was looking at placement. Looked like
It
a
looked
good
a little
mix.
heavy in Forest Park for a
It
minute
did,
there.
but then there would the end. That's what I was afraid. When I first saw the first group, I said, But then towards the second half,
Maple Hill and yeah,
yeah,
and McKnight. So yeah, nice
Yeah.
mix.
nice mix.
Yeah, congratulations, everyone.
And we had nothing to do with it. It was the
No.
randomizer.
A
So
random, and with random, you can get all one neighborhood.
yeah,
Or
that's
one
right.
street. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, well, very good. So moving on, the first item of business is to approve the minutes of our November meeting. I think everyone got them. So if we could have a motion to approve and then a second. Gloria moves to approve. Is there a second?
No, Bob, excuse
Oh,
me. I
second.
just need to say that I'm abstaining because I
Oh,
wasn't at the meeting. So
Okay.
I don't know whether you
Okay,
can approve.
I'll make,
Yeah.
I'll,
all right. Juanita makes a
Yeah.
motion to approve.
Yeah,
Is there a second?
Second,
Steve seconds. Any corrections, additions?
Nope.
So hearing none. Juanita,
yes,
Steve,
yes.
Yolanda,
I'm gonna abstain, just like I wasn't at the last meeting.
okay. Gloria,
no,
Abstain.
she's abstaining.
yeah, and Bob is a yes, so the minutes pass. The next item is regarding contracts. The only issue that we have this time is to talk about is Trinity United Methodist Church. And just sort of a summary is, you know, we recommended some money to them for stained glass window restoration of non-religious imagery, stained glass windows. We've signed the contract, and the church has actually done the work, but one of the requirements of the contract is that if you're not already under the protection of a local historic district, you should request that of the Springfield Historical Commission. And Trinity is reluctant to do that, and was first going to turn down the grant, and has then put that off, asking that we consider removing the local historic district requirement from the contract. And Karen has an email from them, Karen, that if you would read it for the record.
I think maybe you misunderstood me, Bob, but let me can you see my screen or no?
No, I can only
No.
see, I can see everybody, no screen.
Okay, now you can, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So he did not respond back, Bob. The letter that he requested was about the termination, and the changes he wanted to make to the termination that we discussed today. So he's just following up with that request, just to delete that one section of the program. So that has nothing to do with requesting to waive the local historic district requirement. So I sent him an email back, asked him to confirm if he still wanted us to discuss that or not. So
Well,
I don't know.
Well, I received from him an email asking us to delete the section from the contract that relates to the local historic district.
Okay, yes.
And so that the email
I
you're
guess
showing
that would
us,
be it. Yeah.
this is, I think, what he sent us. And then if you click on the attachments,
So he's just, okay. I guess I was looking for him to say the language, please ask the committee to
well,
review
I
my
think
request.
if you click on Springfield Preservation Letter, that's his request of the committee. And then page 2, contract, is the section he wants us to delete.
Okay. The meeting was starting, so I was not
Yeah.
very careful in looking it all over.
Yeah. That's all right. And
Okay.
this only happened today, so.
Yeah, it happened like 10 minutes ago. And earlier in the day, we met with him. Okay, so here's the letter from Alan Hardwood, who is the chairman of the Board of Trustees. Bob and I met with him and another member today to discuss termination of their contract for the stained glass windows. And as the conversation went forward, their concern was in the creation of a local historic district. So he's following up this letter here to ask for your consideration. Dear Sir, Trinity United Methodist Church requests the deletion of the following section in the contract. Purpose of the grant conditions. 4, permanent exterior historic preservation protection. So he's asking for that condition to be removed so that we do not require Trinity to become a local historic district, and we can complete the grant without it. So that's what they're asking. the committee to consider. And we haven't done this before. That is one of our conditions in the contract if they are a historic resource looking for CPA funds. Anything else you want to add to that, Bob?
No, I think that's enough. So you can take
No.
that down, Karen, so we could see everybody. Yep.
I have a question. Does the contract have the alternative restriction in perpetuity?
You know what? That's a very good question, Steve. And I was going to mention that, Bob, today at the meeting with them. But if they don't want to do a local historic district, they're not going to want to do it in perpetuity. And
yeah.
so that is in our contracts now. It was removed about a year ago because we were focusing on local historic districts. But I think we're going to put that back in the contracts, that they have an option, either the in perpetuity preservation restriction or the local historic district, depending on how things work out with the Springfield Historic Commission. But that's a good question. But I didn't ask. Yeah.
I guess I kind of see their point. Are they going to restrict? I mean, if they go into a historic district, then the entire building is subject to the requirements of this historic district, not just the windows, right? I mean, that's something.
Right.
If I were them, I'd say, oh, you know, taking this money and I'm basically saying if I want to make changes to my exterior in any sense, I'm going to have to go before the Historic Commission, not just for the windows, right?
Correct.
So, yeah,
Correct.
I can understand that.
Yeah, but that has been the policy since we began. So
No.
that's how we managed to get 3 of the Springfield museums under local historic district protection: the drama studio, the trolley pavilion, the Elias Brookings School. Gloria, do you have your hand up?
Yes, and the reasoning they gave was they didn't want the restriction because it would affect the rest of any repairs to the building.
Their immediate concern is in the next year or so, they want to put 2 exterior elevators on the property to get handicapped access to various parts of the building. Because if you've ever been in the building, the sanctuary's at one level and the classrooms and parish hall are at another level. And what they said is if they apply for additional CPA money in the future, then they would, you know, comply with it, but they didn't want it now.
And the money the grant that we gave them came out of historic.
Well, either it didn't matter if it did or did not, because if they're a historic resource, they do need to still follow the same procedure if it's a historic resource. And it just happens to be undesignated reserves, it would still be treated in the same way. But good question. Yeah.
Okay, I have another question. If they were to do the elevators and they were on the outside of the building, because it's accommodation under ADA, does that make a difference for historical renovation?
Well, so the historical commission, if you're a local historic district, they get review over anything that happens on the outside of the building. So they could impact the design and say it's got to be covered with the same stone as the rest of the building. They could say it's a new addition and it should look different. They could perhaps even say, no, you can't do it, put it somewhere else. So I know I can't speak for what the historical commission can do, but they have basically
a variety of options.
Correct.
Okay.
But it's risky for them, right? Because they do want to do this elevator. And so because it's unknown what the Historic Commission will do, they don't want to take the risk of becoming a local historic district at this time. And their contract ends in May May, I think it
March.
was
March.
March or May 2025. And it certainly could be extended. But the work is done at this point. The windows are all complete. And at this point in a usual contract, they would be submitting their invoices for reimbursement.
So let me ask a question. I thought for the historic district, it is only if it's seen from the sidewalk.
It would be.
Well, it is, yeah, it's anything
So
that's
if the
visible-
elevator was put in the back,
They, we asked about that, and it's not an option to put it in the back. It won't work with the configuration in the building. The one elevator will be to the left of the church where the parking lot is, which is somewhat unobtrusive, but still you could see it from Sumner. And then the other one is to the right of the bell tower, I
Correct.
think, in the front. So that's right on Sumner Avenue, and you would see that.
yeah. I mean, the side is one thing because you wouldn't, but the, you know, I'm even wondering how that would even work, because I think that side by the parking lot, that's all the church, so I don't even know how you would get to the other rooms.
Well, the one to the left would service getting into the sanctuary of the church and getting into the whatever are in the spaces underneath the sanctuary of the church. So it would give you basement access.
Mhm.
The one to the right of the bell tower gets you access to the offices and the corridor that gets you down to the big parish hall. Because
So
you can-
essentially, see if this works, because the sanctuary is so big, if you were over to where the rooms are, would you have to then go outside? If you wanted to get to.
Oh,
the
to
cen-
take the elevator, to take the second elevator, you mean?
Yeah,
No, you could walk up to that sanctuary level and grab the other elevator.
So
But-
it is not, let me jump in here. It is not for us to solve the handicap
Yes.
accessibility problem of our applicants. You know,
right.
the question is whether or not we want to grant it, in a sense, an exemption by deleting the existing contract that requires that they become a local historic district. The other thing that we pointed out is you can get a building permit up to when you become a local historic district. And since there is right now a hiatus on the creating of districts until the springtime, and it takes 6 months to create a district, they, in a sense, would have until almost next November to come up with their elevator plans, pull a building permit, and they're then grandfathered. But they would rather ask that we remove the exemption from this contract.
They did mention that they do plan on coming back for an additional funding for other projects. And at that time, they would create the local historic district, provided the elevator was in process. So I think that's
So,
all we know.
I mean, they signed a contract that had this provision in it, right? Knowingly, they signed it. It was in there. No, they changed their mind after, after the fact. I don't think it's, I wouldn't support waiving this at this point. I think it's a bad precedent to set.
I agree, Steve.
I agree.
I mean, the issue of the requirement of being either in a local historic district or becoming one is in the workshops that we run every year. It's in the application. So the application that everyone signs either says, I'm already in a district, or I'm not in a district, but I will petition to become a district. And then it's in the contract.
Right. Not a surprise. Obviously, they changed. They had planning process that, was going on maybe concurrently. They didn't really put it together until now,
I think you're right, Steve. I
Yeah.
think that's how it kind of fell out.
Well, I
Well,
think, so we need to probably have a motion in the affirmative that we remove the local historic district requirement from the contract, and then either a yay vote if you're in favor of doing that, or a no vote if you're not in favor of doing that.
So moved.
Okay, second,
I'll second.
any further discussion?
So if you vote yes,
You were
You are-
voting to remove the local historic district
Okay.
requirement from the current contract. We would be doing a contract amendment.
So that's a yes, what you just said, if we vote,
That
okay.
is if you vote yes. If you
Okay.
vote no, it means you are not willing to change the existing contract that requires that they become a local historic district.
Right, you waive the requirement if you vote yes.
and so what we were talking about before would be a yes. No,
No,
would be a no, would be a no.
no.
Okay.
Do you want to waive the requirement? Yes or no? That's the question, really.
So is everyone?
Go, can I'm kind of confused. So give me an example. If we say no, this is what happens. If they say yeah, this is what happens.
If the motion is to amend the contract so it does not require the creation of a local historic district. If you vote yes on that, it means we change the contract, we do an amendment to the contract, and Trinity is not required to become a local historic district. If you vote no, the current contract remains in place, and the current contract requires that Trinity request the Springfield Historical Commission to designate them a local historic district. It's then up to Trinity Church as to whether they want to either proceed with the contract, get the reimbursement, and become a local historic district, or it's their option to decide they're terminating the contract, in which case they pay for their own window restoration.
Okay.
Okay, is everyone clear? We can't decide what Trinity's they're going to do. Our decision is whether we want to delete the local historic district requirement from the current contract, or whether we want to keep it in. If you want to delete it, you vote yes. If you want to keep it in, you vote no.
Okay.
All right. So, unless anyone has other questions, concerns, or isn't sure of what the motion is, we'll start the voting. Steve,
No,
Juanita,
No,
Gloria,
No,
Yolanda,
No,
and Bob is a no. All right, so we will convey that to Trinity. It's then up to them whether they want to, terminate the contract or move forward with becoming a local historic district once the embargo on historic districts is over with. All right. So the next item is approving the community preservation plan. And Karen, do you want to refresh our memory? of that?
Yes, but Clinton is, I don't know, maybe I sent out the wrong link again. I don't know. But he's saying that he can't get on, so I am resending this one.
Oh, okay.
yeah, I fell off too. That's why I had to come back in. I'm not sure what happened, but I seen that you did send it an email, the new Zoom link, and I went into that one. Not sure why it knocked me off.
Oh, because I had another meeting open and then I closed it. So maybe you got caught up in that second that I did that. All right. Well, we'll see what happens now. Okay, so we want to look at the preservation plan. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Not the application, the plan, right?
Plan, correct.
All right. Okay. Here we are. What would you like to do with it?
Well, other than scroll through it, we've seen this several times.
Let me see if I made any highlights in here. No. The only thing
What were the yellow highlights?
I couldn't
That
get
was
those
just-
out. Those are just highlighting a section of the housing plan, and that's not my highlight.
Oh,
Those
okay.
are from where did I pull this from? Their website, I think. And like,
Oh, the link
yeah, it's a
attachments.
picture. It's not
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a link
Yeah.
attachment.
like, yeah, so I can't take that out. The only thing that we were questioning as of last month. Yeah, so there's nothing in this plan except for, I'm gonna jump back over here to the CPC plan so that I can find what it was. Whoops, I'm sorry, you guys.
Karen, can I get that printed?
The what? This application and the plan?
Yeah, yeah. Could
think-
I get it when you print out the other stuff?
I think it's on, didn't you Google it?
Yeah, you can pull this up from on our website.
Yeah.
And when if this is the application, this application will be in, well, no, you won't get the full application when you get it,
No, I-
the applications here. I mean, yeah, I guess I could print and mail you a copy.
Yeah, just mail it.
Let's go back to the plan. We need to first approve the plan, and then we will look at the application and the instructions. So,
There was something in here about, again, the historic preservation.
no, I think that was in the, I think that was in the application instructions.
Okay. Because I thought I highlighted it and I don't see it highlighted in here,
Yeah.
so.
No, I don't think it was in the plan. I think it was in the application instructions.
Okay. Okay. Well, then, if anyone has any edits they want on the plan, does
Yeah.
anyone have anything to say?
No, not this year.
Right. So if we could then have a motion to accept the revised community preservation plan.
I make a motion, we accept the revised annual CPA plan.
Okay, so
Second.
nobody
Is there-
caught that. Right. Nobody caught this date change. Because
September 3rd, 2024.
yeah, instead of 2023, yeah. Yeah, okay.
23.
Usually catch this.
I caught it. It said 23 instead of 24.
Nuts.
Oh,
Anyway.
okay.
All right, kids.
Okay, did someone second that motion?
Yeah, that was me.
Oh, okay,
Yolanda.
thank you, Yolanda. All right, any discussion?
I don't.
All right, hearing none, we will vote on,
Yolanda, you have your hand raised. Is it for
Oh.
a discussion or just a mistake?
I'm gonna stay, maybe.
Okay, okay.
oh, yeah, I can't see people. So Karen, you can take down that for now. Let's just go back. All right. So we'll start the voting. Juanita,
Yes,
Yolanda,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Gloria,
Yes.
and Bob is yes. So we have adopted the revised community preservation plan. So now we have the issue of the application and the instructions for the 2025 application cycle. So Karen, do you want to bring that up now?
You can do that, Bob. So I think we went through this highlighted area on if these dates are good for everyone.
Yeah, we did review that. I think we got down all the way to the issue of
Excuse me.
perpetuity preservation restrictions, and that's what we weren't, that's where we sort of stopped.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, right there. All right, so the sentence is the owner must petition it, the Springfield Historic Commission to be designated a local historic district. If a LHD designation is not possible, an exterior perpetuity preservation restriction will be required, but does not need to be in place when the application is submitted. So the question was, do we want to offer a flat in perpetuity or like a 30-year or a 25-year preservation restriction? And we talked about.
I'm sorry, Karen, when do they do so? And what, maybe Bob might know the answer. When does zoning happen? Like area zoning, whenever they change, like, is it like every 10 years where they start to rechange a districts or the data or zoning or voting zoning?
So zoning is different from a local historic district and a perpetuity preservation restriction. Zoning, zoning is the decision of what you can do in terms of a use in specific locations. So there are zones where you can only build a single family house. There are zones where you can build a single family or a two-family house. There are zones that you can build multifamily housing, zones where you can do retail kind of business, zones where you can do more automotive kind of business, zones where you can do industry. That's zoning. And that
I'm sorry, I reworded it, redistricting. I figure if you know how you get like when they start to redistrict and they start to change certain things about your area. I guess I'm saying it wrong. Because I figure if she's saying the timelines, like how long it would take, and if that area changes almost every 10 years or 20 years or 30 years, maybe if we did it like that. But I think I'm using the wrong words, so I'll figure it out.
I think I know what you're getting at. So for example, Mattoon Street, right? If, well, I don't know if Mattoon Street is the best example, but if a local historic district, McKnight, maybe that's a good one. All right, so in McKnight, there's the National Registry District and then the local historic district. And it overlaps, only the National Historic District isn't included in the local. So say if you wanted to make parts of McKnight become a local historic district, that would be changing the district to include more streets that are in the national district to be part of the local. Like that
Right.
would be a redistricting, but that would be like a thing that would have to be.
That would be the expansion of a local historic district.
But you could also remove too, I suppose, right?
Well, just like you can create a local historic district, you can uncreate it. It would take the Springfield Historical Commission voting to recommend to the Springfield City Council to change the boundary or abolish a local historic district. So,
Right, but it would have to be intentional. It's not like if districts were just changed that the local historic district would automatically change too. I think that would be a separate action to make that happen. Correct, Bob?
correct. A local historic district is its own creation and it can only,
Oh, okay.
And
So that you answered my question. Yeah,
especially if it's an individual building that's the local historic district, and a single building, like that won't change unless, I
well,
guess,
once
City
again,
Hall.
anything, they can be created and they can be uncreated. It requires the Springfield Historical Commission recommending it to the Springfield City Council.
I got
So-
it.
So a local historic district, for all intents and purposes, is for perpetuity unless the Springfield Historical Commission and the Springfield City Council decides to undo it.
Mm.
A perpetuity preservation restriction is forever unless the Springfield Historical Commission and the Massachusetts Historical Commission decide to undo it.
So it's a stronger restriction if it's in perpetuity as a preservation restriction.
No, I don't know. I'm only aware of one time a preservation restriction being undone here in Springfield. A local
was-
historic district's never been undone.
Mm.
I
So,
would go,
Oh, sorry, Gloria?
I would go with perpetuity.
okay, so the reason, Gloria, you weren't here, but the reason why it was brought up was that, say, for example, and again, Trinity is probably a good example. They received, I think it was like 65,000, which isn't a whole lot of money. And so is that worth a perpetuity restriction rather than maybe a 25-year restriction? So there might be times that we don't want to put a long restriction on, you know, a building. And the argument to that is to protect it where it would be under the control of the local Springfield Historic Commission to review it. I don't know. I mean, it was a suggestion to have a lower restriction other than a perpetuity. And that's where we ended it last month.
Right. I can see that. I mean, speaking from the owner's perspective, an exterior perpetuity preservation restriction is pretty hard to undo, as we were just discussing. So, it can have a material impact on the market value of the property in some circumstances. And if you're just doing windows and you're not doing any of the rest of the structure, you have to ask yourself, does the restriction covering the entire building, does that make economic sense for the applicant? I mean, that's just one thing. But there's always the possibility of doing sliding scale things based upon the percentage of the building being worked on, that kind of thing. But that just gets really complicated.
Yeah, I mean,
I would suggest that just a standard one size fits all thing here, and I mean, it's theoretically possible to negotiate on a case by case basis if it comes down to that, right?
is it possible that we do exterior perpetuity slash, like for,
so
say,
Karen,
20 years?
can you take this down so we can see each other?
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
We don't need to
absolutely.
continue focusing on the word perpetuity.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Could it be perpetuity slash perpetuity, I don't know what you'd call it, but perpetuity for like 20 years, 30 years.
Or limited.
Could it be perpetuity slash limited perpetuity?
Well, it's not limited perpetuity. It would be for a different time frame.
What's one there, yeah.
I guess my concern is our preference is the creation of a local historic district, which is permanent unless for some bizarre reason, both the commission and city council undo it. It is permanent. And since we've had CPA, we've had probably 7 or 8 recipients who aren't already under the control of a district become under the control of a district. They didn't have any problem with that. We've yet to have to do the perpetuity or restriction. It's only because of this hiatus that the planning department has set on local historic districts that we've even been discussing it. But if a local historic district is in perpetuity unless undone, that's the same as a perpetuity preservation restriction, which can also be undone. I think we should keep it the existing wording.
Especially since it can be undone.
Well, with a lot of effort. It's not a
Well-
quick fix.
Well, right, but
All right, so let's wrap this up. If we could have a motion, either a motion that says the wording stays the same, or the motion is to change the wording. We need something that we can vote on.
Do you want to do a case by case basis? Do you want to use that language or not even go down that road?
No,
Go on, Gloria.
I make a motion that we leave the language stays as stated in perpetuity.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
Well, I think just a point is that this is not a regulation, it's not an administrative rule, it's just a statement in our application and in the documents, right? That we put in there. So, I mean, it is.
Well, it becomes policy, right? If we put it
Yeah.
in.
But it's not, it doesn't have the weight of a regulation that you can't change without a hearing, that kind of thing. This is something that you could handle, you could do case by case if you wanted to. But I guess I'm in favor of just the perpetuity thing being in there as a starting point. And if somebody makes a really good case later on, we can listen to them, right?
Correct, I think.
Any other comments? So Gloria,
Yes,
Juanita,
Yes,
Steve,
Yes.
Yolanda,
I'm going to abstain.
and Bob is a yes. Okay. So the word perpetuity stays in.
Okay.
And back to the document. Anything else, Karen?
Let's look, Bob. See what else we got. Oh, there are some more highlights. Oh, okay. So again, to the 9 paper. Yolanda said that she wanted paper copies as well earlier. Is that right? You wanted a paper copy of the applications?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And I think that brought it down to only Gloria and one other
Judy.
person, Judy. Gloria and Judy wanted digital copies, so that's 7. But I need 3 copies myself. So
can you take one of ours afterwards, like you've done before?
I mean, I can.
So I won't write all over them. Seriously, I can write in pencil and erase it.
Well, as long as you don't write on, no, I just won't use that one. I'll use that as my file copy if there's markings on it. Because the other 2 copies are clean copies that go into the city, one for
Okay,
the city files, and the other one goes back to the grantee. And then one goes in our file. So that's 3 copies that I need. But yes, I could take one of your copies. So that means 9 paper copies that people hate to do. We
And-
get that every year. Why don't you just do digital? Well, because.
That's okay. That's all right. It's
You
not
want
such
up
a
to
big deal.
$300,000 in the grant
Right.
recommendations, you can give us 9 paper
Yeah,
copies.
really, it's not such a big
yeah.
deal.
Karen, down under, there are 2 ways to deliver. It says it should be postmarked by February 29th, and it's going to be February 27th. Oh, no, up the next, it's not highlighted. Go down there.
Oh, so is it the 27th or it is the 27th, right?
Yeah.
They are due on the 27th, and they either need to be delivered by 4 p.m. or they need to be postmarked on the 27th.
Okay.
And once again, we've got to drop them off. Yeah. The week of that week. Yep. And have you checked with the election office to make sure we're willing to do that this year?
If they still like us and they'll do this for us.
Yeah.
I have not,
Well,
but I will.
please, yes.
Yeah.
Well, at least we know that, because I had to read up on it, that's right. And I read some stuff on the history examples of the Massachusetts perpetuity. And yeah, it's amazing
Yeah.
about the historic districts and how they've changed. And especially since 1751, where the British had control and the means of wealth through the generations. But it's all phased out in 2015, so that perpetuity went out the window in 2015.
Oh. Okay.
So Steve is right. Perpetuity can end at some point.
That was only 200 and some odd years, so, we have,
That's true.
that'll see us all through.
And Karen, do you have a copy of the actual cover page of the application?
The cover page of the application.
Yep.
Would that be the? Oh.
That's the thing that you can fill out electronically.
All right. Actually, Alan just responded, so he doesn't want the termination by mutual agreement to be discussed.
Mm-hmm.
New, so we did that. So I just had it up. And you're talking about the first page here, right? This page?
No, the thing that actually is the front page of the application.
Well, we don't have that. That would be online. Is that what you mean?
I guess so.
Okay. All right. Gonna take me a minute here, Bob.
That's all right. Well, and I guess while Cameron's doing that, does anyone have any other changes to the instructions for the application?
No, it's worked in the past.
Yep.
Okay. All right, I think this is what you're looking for. Is this what you're looking for, Bob?
Yeah.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
And is that the top? Can we go right to the top? And then they can fill out what's below that.
Is this the electronic one or is this?
Yes. If people want a paper copy, they're going to have to request it, or they could always print this electronic copy.
So I guess here's my dumb question, Karen. On this electronic copy, which we comes on, will ultimately be put on top of the total application. Can we have something where it says application 2025? I have a whole bunch of applications here at my house. And in order to figure out what year did it come in, I have to be scurrying and looking at what date they signed the application. And it would be more helpful if right at the top it says this is the 2025 application.
In
Okay.
fact, okay.
Does that work for you, Bob?
If that indeed is what gets ultimately printed out.
Okay. All right, I will check. I will do a test run and see what prints out first and make sure that something is at the top.
Yeah, because what I'm seeing, at least in some of last year's or previous year's application, it does not have the date at the top of it. The only way I can figure out what year it's for is when I go back down to the bottom and look at what date they signed it. Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. That was easy.
So unless someone has any other changes to make to the instructions or to the this cover sheet, have a motion to accept.
So moved.
I'll second.
Second, all right, any discussion? Hearing none, we'll start the voting. Gloria,
Yes.
Juanita,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Yolanda,
Yes.
Bob is a yes. All right, we're good to go. Karen, do you have any administrator updates for us?
I do not, but could I just, I'll go back and review the tape here. But in response to Trinity, the committee voted not to waive the local historic district requirement. That's what I'm going to send him a response because he just emailed.
Mm-hmm.
That's correct, right?
We chose not to change the contract, so the
Right.
requirement of becoming a local historic district is still in place.
Okay, and that to ask him to let us know when he'd like to make a decision on how he wants to handle the grant. So at that time. Okay, good. That's all I have. I don't have anything else.
But just one thing. So just to clarify this, so we're not to change the wording, but then they're going to have to apply for a local historic. Can they apply for a temporary local historic?
No, there is no such thing as a temporary local historic.
Okay.
It's forever until it gets undone, unless someone decides to undo it.
Okay.
We
In
did
200
suggest-
years.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did suggest that he might want to have a conversation with the Historic Commission. And not that it's binding, but to, maybe help
Now,
him
can
questions.
their building just be historic? Does it have to be the whole neighborhood, or can it just be their building?
Oh, no, it's just
no.
their building.
I don't see why it would be a
Right.
problem.
Like the drama studio became a local historic district and they're putting an elevator in on the side. So
Right.
it's kind of a similar situation, although it's on to the side. And that was approved by the Historic Commission, but it doesn't necessarily mean they would approve it for the church, but it's kind of a similar reasoning as well.
But the building of the church has been there for extremely long time, right?
The church has been there for almost 100 years.
I don't see. Yeah.
So let's not try to solve this problem now.
Okay. But just to clarify, the drama studio isn't just the one building, it's the drama studio and library. That's the the drama studio took CPA money and asked to be a single building local historic district.
And they didn't include the Parsons house, correct?
Correct. It's only the church and the parish hall that is behind the church.
So the
Oh, I
library
thought it was
isn't-
the whole thing.
The library is not under local historic district
Ah.
protection.
There was a reason for that, wasn't there? Like, didn't,
The reason is that we can't require our applicants to create local historic districts beyond their own properties.
Ah,
I thought there.
Okay.
So, just like all of Byers Street should be a local historic district if we lived in an ideal world. The only
Right.
top buildings that are going to become a local historic district are the 3 Wayfinder-owned buildings, which have received CPA money.
okay.
All right, so our next meeting is
Gloria
January.
has a question.
No, no, that's okay.
Oh,
Gloria, do you have a question?
No, go ahead, Bob.
Okay, the next meeting will be January 7th. It will also be our annual CPA training session for people who've never filled out an application. So we will start with that, and then we will go into regular business. We may not have a lot of regular business. We don't know yet. There may be a couple of things, but
Do that, Bob. We do it every year. I don't know. Do we need to do it? Can we just show, roll the tape on that?
I think it's important for us to be user-friendly. And
I
if it
agree
takes-
with you.
If it takes 45 minutes for us to be user-friendly, I think it's worth our while.
Karen, we're not
else?
here long enough to be a sitcom. You're not gonna have reruns.
Roll
No, I agree, because it shows that we're here to answer. I think it's important.
All right. Very good. Well, thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful holiday season. Happy New
Thank
Year.
you.
Same
Same
all
to
you.
you.
Thank you.
2025.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, right.
Hey,
I make a
I get
motion,
back-
we adjourn.
Oh, yeah, we have to have the
We
motion. Okay,
adjourn.
all in favor of adjourning, raise your hand or say yes. All right.
all right.
All right.
Happy holidays.
Yeah.
Happy
I'll-
Take
holidays.
care.
I'll take care.
Bye.
Karen,
Yes.
I will keep one of my copies pristine.
Perfect. Thank you
Okay.
so much. All right.
That'll make my guilt of using the paper feel better.
All right. And we'd like to do that for you.
Okay,
Okay. Bye.
all right,
Bye.
bye-bye.